Greetings, everyone. This is Karen, and today is Saturday. It's early February, and I'm having a home day so far after coming home from the gym. I'm rebuilding. For those of you that are brand new to my channel or brand new to what I'm all about, I'm a shaman and a medicine woman. My life, I have been building and developing into this. I've been involved in plant-based nutrition for now 36 years, since 1984. And I'm just live streaming from my home today. It's February, and I happen to be in Northeast Minnesota, where it's about 15 degrees. It's a little tiny bit windy, and today I elected not to go for a walk with the dogs outside. I went to the gym and did an hour on the elliptical, got a good sweat going, and then took a shower and got into the sauna and got some heat into my body, which always feels good. Came home and put my shea butter cream on. And if you don't know me, you haven't watched any of my other videos, I will be talking and writing my third book. I'm an author as well, speaker, about the opioid crisis because my son transitioned. He died October the 29th. Sometimes we're not familiar with everyone's different language of 2019. So about 3 months and a week ago. And so that's why you hear me clearing my throat and I look so rough. Is that the two of us went on a pretty horrendous journey as he tried to really fight off this thing that really latched onto him. When I had his first funeral event on 11/11 at 11 o'clock at the Cloquet Funeral Home, Nelson's funeral home, one woman who is very sweet and means well said, "I think you should probably go get on some medication." And she probably doesn't know me all that well, but that's not what I would do. My entire body became inflamed from my throat down through my lungs and my heart. It was very difficult to walk any distance, to breathe. I couldn't breathe through my nostrils. I couldn't lay down and sleep at night without choking. Whatever you want to call it, COPD, pneumonia, congestive heart disease. It could have been any, and it could have been all of those. But I'm still doing a lot of throat clearing. My energy is still a little bit down, and obviously it's painful. One of the things that I'm doing, and I'm doing a live stream on about today, is the ginger, apple, lemon, and raw honey tea. Now I made a big, whoops, I got a Post-it stuck on here. I've got a really big travel mug that I got that's actually a little too big. I bought it over a year ago at Walmart. It's a great deal and keeps it really nice and hot. So I can even put that in my car. And if I'm out tonight for several hours, I can get back in my car as freezing as it is, and my tea will still be nice and warm, or if not hot. But for showing you kind of what the color looks like, here's kind of a little Bodum mug that I got on sale at Aldi's for $1.99. Let me explain how to do it really simply, because ginger is one of those anti-inflammatories that is so powerful, and yet we're always looking for curcumin or turmeric. We're always looking for these other herbs that we know about because they're kind of hot trends, and sometimes it's because people need to sell a lot of product, and sometimes that product isn't always the best quality. Whether you have to go to Walmart to get it, our local Walmart has it. Our local natural food store has it in a little basket by the counter. And I like to get mine up at Whole Foods in Duluth. And it might look like it's really super pricey because you buy it by the pound. But depending on what your appetite is for ginger or your taste, how much you can tolerate, ginger is a spicy, fiery. It's an herb, really. And so I'm clearing my throat with it, upgrading and helping my inflammation with it. And so I took a lot of ginger today, probably, a hand with some fingers of ginger, and then another kind of really big piece of about 5-6 inches. And I take a long knife and I just chop it into pieces. It's really simple. What you want to do is put that chopped ginger as much as you like, and start off maybe lower and say, well, I don't really taste the ginger so much. I'll add a little bit more, and add it to your filtered water, because you don't want to use chlorine and fluoride water. So add it to your filtered water, ideally in a glass pot. If you don't have a glass pot, then use a high quality stainless steel. And add it to your water. I add a nice big saucepan that probably takes at least, 8 or 9 cups of water. I bring it to a boil and let it boil for about 10 minutes. And when it starts boiling, I chop up, right now I have Honeycrisp organic apples. And I chopped up the Honeycrisp organic apple just in slices. I didn't, spend a lot of time chopping it up. While that was cooking for about 30, 40 minutes, and then after the 10-minute boil, I turned it down to just where it's simmering real nice. And I could have even added a couple of cloves to that if I wanted to, if I really had a toothache or I had something else going on, a systemic infection in my body that I really needed to handle. But I know that in my case, it's inflammation being driven by stress, lack of sleep, inordinate stress, and then the death of my child. So that produces a lot of inflammation in the body, obviously, right? When you watch my videos, what you're going to really get, what's going to benefit you, is that for 36 years, I've helped people to reverse disease. And it doesn't matter what it is. There's no promise that can be made, just like at the doctor's office. But really, the way to unwind the symptoms that you have, and that's why I want to show you what I look like right now, what I'm going through, and what I'm using, okay? Using this, and I just basically took a large bamboo pronged, it's kind of like a wooden spoon, but it's got some prongs on it, and I tipped it over, and I put all of the tea material, meaning not the ginger and the apple, in the cup, but in the bottom of the cup, I put 3 juiced organic lemons that I picked up late last night when I was coming back from an engagement. So I juiced them in a dollar store citrus juicer. I've got the fancy cold press citrus juicer. I've got everything because of being plant-based for 36 years. But I pull out my little dollar store citrus juicer because it's easy, it's fast, it's quick to wash, and I love it. And it's only $1. So sometimes people say to me, well, I can't really do juice and I can't do fresh juice because I don't have the money to go buy a juicer. And I'm like, hey, you can actually go ahead and go buy yourself the citrus juicer and start off on lemons and limes and make your ginger juice on the stove, and it's all good. Add a little bit of apple to it so it sweetens it. It tastes really good. So the bottom of my mug, my big mug that I made a big amount in first, because I'm going to be sipping on this tonight, had 3 fresh juiced organic lemons. I just cut it in half, pushed it on the juicer, put it in there without all the seeds, added my tea material, squirted a bunch of my raw honey, and at the very end, I put a couple of nice big dashes of cinnamon, because cinnamon is also anti-inflammatory. Sweet, delicious, amazing. Helps you with your mood too. 2 little tips that I want to add, because I've kind of been on a trend here of adding a few things. Wasn't super impressed with the Thayer's deodorant. I did use it last night, and I felt like I didn't really kind of cut it all the way. But, I'm going to keep using the bottle, obviously. It just won't be my absolute go-to if I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, and making a client feel like they could smell something on me. So I was at the gym. And when there's a woman who's a little bit older than me, and she was taking the yellow bottle, and spraying the machine off to wipe it off. And I walked up and I said, are you sure you want to use that? Because she and I talk quite a bit here and there. And she's kind of a little bit more open-minded. I would say she's 70s or early 80s. And she said, well, you don't want to get the flu. You don't want germs. And I said, well, that's why I wash my hands. And that's why I eat the way that I do, because I believe the flu is a detoxification event. Could you measure a virus in the body? I'm sure that you could. But to me, colds and flus are detoxification events. It's your own body doing what it needs to do and shoveling out all this excess stuff that you really don't need. So I said, did you know there's other things like oregano, like citrus oils, like essential oils that actually kill up to 99 or so %. So I remembered when I got home that I wanted to be sure and put this on my live stream, because no, you don't have to use known carcinogen chemicals. And I went over and I asked her, the lady that was working at the gym, to show her the bottle and the ingredients. And I showed her on my phone using Google This is how you look them up. This is how you know. So no, I'm not a bad person because I don't wipe off my machine when I'm done. They don't offer me something that is copacetic in terms of not endangering my health. However, since I suggested it over 10 years ago or more, that they could be filling bottles and still complying with their ordinances about killing viruses and bacteria, they haven't made that change. I'm not going to be spraying that and inhaling it through my nostrils and absorbing it through my sweaty palms when I hold on to an elliptical. 7th generation, listen to my throat. See, this is what I'm talking about. I am regenerating me. Do you see what it says? 99.9%. All right. This is a disinfectant spray. Why would you need this? I live with dogs. I mean, they go inside and outside. They step on things. I make cleanups and things like that. For whatever reason, you might want to use that, right? Instead of using medications, if I start to feel like I'm going to go spend several hours with clients at work, and my energy is not really stable. I started getting pretty weepy yesterday. I started feeling a little bit like, it's kind of affecting me. It's like I drive over to Duluth and I think, geez, this is where I used to come see my son every day, just about every single day. And it's really, really depressing for a mom. And for any of you who are watching that have also have children that have transitioned from Earth and have joined the ancestors, and they're no longer living in a human vehicle, a human body, my love is so sent to you because I do understand. I've gone through it. I use something which right on the bottle tells you is for emotional well-being, and it brings that unstable energy, that unstable living waters, because your plasma is an electrical conductive fluid. Your red blood cells have to float around in a highly negatively charged environment. Otherwise, they stick together and they aggregate and they form clots. Okay? None of what I'm going to guide you with, you see me tucking my son's name necklace here into my shirt. This is kind of my climate tech underalls, and then I'm going to suit up and layer up for going out in the cold. You might know about 5-HTP. You probably have heard about someone talking about it. Natural Factors is the brand that I trust. You can see at the top it says Stress Relax. This one is 100 milligrams. And I will take one of those, maybe a couple hours before I go somewhere. And it just levels me out. I'm not drugged. These are amino acids. They're brain food. I've been working with them with my clients for over 20 years in terms of amino acids, and from food and now from supplements. And I have a wide repertoire of things that I use given the person, the client, given their hair tissue test. So while sometimes it might be nice to look at the woman who's never had a child die, who's in her 20s or 30s and just took a 6-month correspondence health coach course, that's not me. I'm someone who's worked in the trenches with real people, helping them reverse their disease. I've learned what they will and will not do. I've worked a great deal with cognitive dissonance. I've worked with educating people about heavy metals. I've hair tissue tested them. I've worked extensively as a mind-body expert. And all of these things are what should be in our medicine, but for the fact that our medicine was hijacked. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. You know that you have other choices, that you don't have to use carcinogenic chemicals that are cancer causing. You know that you don't have to run. If you're feeling a little down and you're going through grief, try some of these things if it's a safe opportunity, a safe option, not opportunity, but safe option for you. Okay? I'm on here. I've explained my situation. It's why I'm throat clearing. It's why I'm puffy. Okay. I'm also re-dreadlocking my hair. So I kind of pulled it back like in a little bun, but you can see one of the dreadlocks is sticking out. Looks a little funny, but I'm home for a couple hours before I take off. My house is nice and warm. Instead of buying a humidifier that year after year gets clogged up and icky, I'm going to go throw it away in the landfill and off it goes in my garbage cart. Instead of thinking of this as radical minimalism, put your pot of tea that you make to work as a double for you. Let it humidify your house. Or I have a pot ready so that when I rise up in the morning, I'm able to see that pot and turn it on the stove and start getting some moisture in the house, because the forced air heating and the wood stoves dry the moisture out of you. And this is why we start to look so pale and pasty and we start to get such dry skin, and our hands start to look really dry. So rise it up. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining me. I hope you'll subscribe, because I'm a real person with real medicine and I'm here with real help. Thank you. Make it a great, awesome Saturday.